Are full-face helmets actually stupid? I mean, not only stupid looking, but just a stupid money grab because big helmet is in bed with government. Well, you'll find out just how involved the government is in the helmet scheme. But before I dive into that, I'm going to cover the 4 most common helmet designs, how helmets evolved into being full-face, why riders choose one design over the other, and whether or not one of the helmets is completely stupid and a total piss-poor waste of your money. Now, bear in mind, I've been riding, building, and wearing motorcycle helmets since before any of you were born, so I'm uniquely positioned to tell you what to think. Just trust me. I'm an expert. I know everything. You don't need to think. Just listen, like the slack-jawed geezers at a Joel Osteen concert. I'm kidding. Think for yourself unless you disagree with me. Now, if you do disagree with me, you can go ahead and click the like button because it's free and requires very little effort on your part, but it helps the channel out a ton and ensures that your feed is not filled with that awful BS AI slop. I really wish YouTube would do something about that. It's disgusting! So the 4 most common helmet designs. Helmets, right? There's pretty much only 4 types of helmets. You have the Black Knight, the Soft Melon Saver, the Dunce, and that weird thing with the straws that lets your beer sit in the sun so when you sip it, it's all warm and flat. I'm just kidding. Those aren't real and they can't hurt you, but using your teeth as a brake can. So the actual 4 types of helmets here, guys, they are the half helmet, open face or 3/4, the modular, and the full face. So I'm going to break down the particulars of each of these skull coverings. Now, the old half helmet, also known as the brain bucket or the titty topper, only covers the top of your head. And it's really only the choice of chopper riders and extreme minimalists. That's sometimes paired with dark brown leathery skin, a very old leather vest, and it really ties the whole outfit together, especially when it's topped off with an overwhelming scent of stale cigarettes. Now, people choose this over other options because you got max airflow. They're also lightweight, barely feels like you're wearing anything, and it doubles as a soup bowl for when you go to the Chili's all-you-can-eat chili nights. And do not skip the jalapeno cornbread. Oh my God, so choice. Now this helmet offers about as much protection as a yarmulke. Now next is the open face helmet. You see them pretty often with vintage designs on them, like the Captain America flag pattern. It's got red, white, and blue, or some kind of like mega flake sparkle paint job. Now this is a helmet that covers just the top and the sides and the back of the head, but it leaves your face holes exposed to enjoy the farts of the guy in front of you. Typically this is worn by cruiser guys, chopper dudes, or really anybody who's on a vintage bike. And I know a lot of people choose them because they have a better airflow and there's a little bit of a better feel when you're riding. They also look pretty classic. Now, the only trade-off here is that everyone can see who the hell is riding that greasy clapped out chopper. This brings us to the modular helmets. Now a modular helmet is a full face helmet with a hinge that flips the whole chin bar up. Now these were typically worn by those ultra tough and super badass adventure riders on gravel roads to get to a coffee shop so they can show off their $3,000 Motec aluminum panniers with some stickers they bought on eBay that probably say like, ride far, ride free, or I queef for the trees. I'm just poking fun, guys. ADV riders, you guys are all right. You're all retarded, but it's cool. But this helmet actually, interestingly enough, it seems to be finding a place in the bagger and cruiser community lately for many reasons. They are slightly less rigid than a full face, but the convenience of a flip-up chin makes it way easier to talk with people or get a breath of fresh air to escape from your crippling case of halitosis. Now, a full face helmet covers your entire gourd, including all your chins and typically the favored choice of professional racers, sport bike riders, probably because you can get them to match your Power Ranger costume, and commuters. You can really smell your own badass breath in the full face bad boys. It's great. Just How did helmets evolve into being full-faced? Well, it turns out riders have long resisted helmets starting back in the early 1900s, where most guys were wearing nothing. And then later, just to flap a cow scrotum that was donned while muttering the incantation of the late Babylonian war chant, followed by crossing oneself in the name of the Father, Son, and the Harley spirits. Now, I can't think of one good purpose other than protecting your follicles from sun exposure. It's just leather. But granted, motorcycles went much, much slower back then. Pre-1950s racing was really the only place you saw helmets being used, and speed was still prioritized over protection. Those dudes were literally wearing wool sweaters as protection.
Where's your fire suit?
What?
Where's your fire suit?
Good heavens, man, I don't intend to burst into flames. Always wear my old suit pants for good luck. If they're good enough to get married in, they're good enough to ride this old girl.
Those were men. Now, in the 50s, surgeons and other researchers started tracking head trauma deaths because that is ultra mega turbo fun to track, like tracking my monthly cycle. I'm just kidding. These studies that showed that helmets could reduce fatalities and instead leave the rider's family with a vegetable to care for. Super big improvement. So rather than 6 fatherless children and a widow, you have a practically single mom with 6 kids and a useless retard to care for who now needs to go get a job instead of collecting that life insurance payout. Women across the globe were absolutely singing doctors' praises for this massive improvement that they had achieved for feminism. I digress. The helmets were saving life sometimes, but they really hadn't come that far in the way of actual protection yet. Now, it was around this time that Bell saw a need for a new product. They weren't even Bell helmets at the time, I think. They were behind like a garage called Bell Garage or whatever. But they released what's called the Bell 500, one of the first hard-shell, open-face helmets that offered a new level of protection, but also a new level of looking kind of stupid. Riders hated it, claiming it killed visibility, it wasn't comfortable, and it takes away the freedom feeling of riding and looking cool, and it totally f***ed up your pompadour. Dude, that's the worst. But that was not the end of helmets, clearly. In 1967, Bell released the Bell Star, full facial helmet. And it wasn't the street riders that adopted it first, but it was actually racers. Now, as bikes got faster, they had to start prioritizing facial injury, brain trauma, or death versus looking stupid. As the common phrase goes, it is hard to look cool while unconscious. However, I disagree. Of course I do. Because, dude, have you seen those pictures of Jesse James dead in his casket? Like, what a stud. I seriously always thought that halfway through a sneeze look was so debonair. Like, plus, what's more cool than being dead? I mean, aren't skulls and flames super chopper cool, dude? Now, in the 1960s and 70s, the government gets involved in helmets because they love to walk in a room and suck the ever-loving fun and money out of literally everything. So, they tied federal highway funding to helmet laws. States started requiring helmets to receive this alleged funding for roads, which led to massive backlash. Riders hated this, protesting all over, saying it was government overreach. Americans wanted the freedom to choose at their own risk. Additionally, the states that didn't want or need the federal funding were financially penalized if they didn't want to play with the mafia. I mean, if they didn't want to play with the government game.
I want to play a game.
How is that? I'm curious what you think, though. Let me know in the comments if you think the government should be mandating what we put on our heads or not. Now, the result was that helmets became politicized and divided a lot of people. The helmet adopters were kind of a symbol of the weak rule follower rather than a safe and practical individual. Now, this brought about stigmas between certain helmet wearers, and this never went the freak away. Fast forward to today, those stigmas still exist in some circles. Do you wear half a bra on your head, strap your chin with barbed wire like a tough guy? Or do you wear the dark helmet and a reflective vest? So what's really interesting, though, is how helmet designs are now an integral part of a rider's identity. I mean, you rarely find chopper dudes rocking ADV helmets, and you don't find dirt bikers wearing sparkly American flag 3/4. And that's because your helmet allows you to tell the world what type of rider you are. And that's why you should wear your helmet everywhere. Otherwise, you're just a nobody. Now, in the 1980s, technology had a baby with helmets. Let's leave that mental image out, but it was a booming industry with sales driven by terrified mothers and wives. Absolutely brilliant if you ask me. And by the 2000s, it really got crazy. Helmets were now full-faced, lighter, more aerodynamic, better ventilation, anti-fog visors, built-in camelbacks, Bluetooth hookah equipment. The technological advancements in material strength and weight were very much so driven forward, and these advances were increasingly incorporated into helmet design. Computerized crash tests gave data that allowed further refinements of helmets to create even safer designs that would allow riders to use their skull to slow down with little to no damage to their cervical spinal structure. Technology. Why do riders choose one design over the other? Well, because different riders prioritize badassery, safety, and comfort differently. Let me break this down for you by using the badass safety matrix. So here we have how protective your helmet is. That's the red line on the p-axis. It represents safety. And over here we have your badass factor. That is the green line on the x-axis. See how the helmet, as it gets more protective, your badass factor decreases, unlike the gas prices in California. Now, if you get out there, way up here, that's super safe, you're just in mega plebe territory. And you can see even a minuscule amount of safety decreased badass factor by 73.62% per incrementally measured and equally spaced plebery. Science! Please excuse the interruption. I had to poop. It was good. Let us proceed. So over here in this little spot, go ahead and zoom in real tight. No. Closer. A little closer. No. I mean really, really close. Man, you're really bad at finding the clit. Wow, no, it's right there. Oh my God, you are hopeless. Okay, well, anyways, that tiny little love bean spot, that's basically the furthest you can push safety before you break orbit from planet cool. Now, what is the most important factor when riding a motorcycle? You guessed it, looking cool. Special thanks to my incredibly diverse design team for their incredible use of DEI and stock photography. As you can see, I employ both rappers and the elderly.
Senior citizens, although slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose.
Thank you. Science! So the reason riders choose one design over the other is that it's all about where they live on the matrix and how much style they're willing to sacrifice for safety and comfort. So after seeing the badass safety matrix, are full face helmets stupid? Are they just a fear-based money grab by a big helmet to get you to buy more helmet? That depends, and I'll share why. Yes, full face helmets are completely stupid from one perspective: aesthetics. You will never look more cool in a full face helmet than you do riding with less helmet. It's a fact. All the motorcycle iconography that we pedestalized over the glory years, they do not feature tech-rich, full-face, fog-reducing, virginity-ensuring helmets. So yes, you will look stupider to a degree, because stupid can also be in the eye of the beholder. To those who love safety and reflective gear, you may look like a god. But there are some areas where these helmets are not stupid, and here they are. If all you do is cruise around town with the homies to get tacos and pickled eggs, then you probably don't need the Bluetooth urinal helmet with the flip-up visor and integrated LED that says, "Please be patient, I am elderly," on the back with the upgraded life alert button. It's a good one, actually. I like it. Graybeard, okay? You would probably go for the more minimal titty teacup or the 3/4 helmet. That's gonna be your best choice. Now, if you're gonna take a ride from LA to Sturgis, then you may want to consider how rough that ride will be on your face in all kinds of weather. Now, a modular or full face may be a better option for you. Are you gonna rip a dirt bike around the desert? Well, unless you want some new piercings courtesy of a barrel cactus, a full face helmet may be the ideal choice for that scenario. Now, I see a lot of chopper guys and cruiser dudes, whatever, wearing full face helmets. They accept Bluetooth speakers and mics, and they look a lot cooler than they used to. And I do believe many riders today are seriously considering the safety risks of motor scooter riding. Now, if you've got questions about how you look on your bike, head on over to the forum, show us some feet pics. We can even argue about whether beans belong in chili. I'll drop the link in the description for you. Now, here's some boring ass. In order of safety from least safe to most safe, you've got half helmet, 3/4, and then I'm gonna say mod followed by full face. Comfort-wise, in order from least to most comfortable, you got full face, mod, 3/4, and then half helmet. See how that works? It's just flipped. Safety, comfort, safety, comfort, safety. I don't know how we do that now. Style-wise, well, that's really individual preference. I am personally totally a huge fan of those big, obnoxious furry helmets with the ears that belong at a deadmau5 concert. But hey, that's just me. I like it. There's something, fuzzy to touch when I'm trying to look tough at the 76 station on my ruckus. And I like picking bugs out of that fur. It's a great time. Now, from my experience, you should go out and try on some helmets. They come in multiple sizes and designs, but it took me trying on at least a dozen helmets before I found one that fit me. Now, all this stated, I still wear my 3/4 helmet for bar hopping and drunk driving on the sidewalk only. But if I'm going full blackout drunky pants McGee, I'm gonna run a nice modular full face. Now, full face helmets are excellent birth control, but just like condoms and a hanger, it's better to have them and not need them than need them and not have them. You don't wanna wait for the pavement to come at your face to wish you had a better helmet to come at your face. Yeah, not in, at your face. Now, obviously, don't drink and ride. You might spill the beer, and nobody likes alcohol use. Ultimately, each of us must decide where we live on the badass safety matrix, and this will determine whether full face helmets are stupid for you or not.